and then give the mic to speakers because I know you are here for them, not for me. So once again, study biology and bioscience in Germany. These are our guests. And of course, I will introduce all of them separately. Briefly about German University, who is organizer of today's session. This is Germany's largest study program database where you can find the study programs offered by German universities. Earlier, I was saying it's for English taught study programs, and today's webinar is for English taught study programs, but some of them also have component of German language. But now you can also find fully German taught study programs here as well. We also have lots of articles. We have articles specifically for master students, if you are searching for scholarships, if you are searching for accommodation, I don't know, all the different topics. Articles are also in different languages and can be kind of broad, but also very precise in terms of information specifically for scholarships or visa, because we know they are very interesting and important for international applicants. Of course, the webinars. We are proud to have more than 200 webinars per year, and in addition to subject webinars when you can already connect with your future program, we also have general webinars like UniAssist, visa, scholarship, studying in Germany, opportunity card, and so on. And those webinars provide general information about topic, and then we also have a 30-minute live Q&A with students. This is our team. We are based in Hamburg, Germany. We are counseling different languages. By counseling, don't take it as a one-to-one counseling or doing application on your behalf, but we provide all the information so that you are well prepared yourself to make a very good and strong application and then start your semester in Germany. Now, in case you have already used our study finder, you know that there are lots of very interesting, important, and combinable filters that you can use in order to search and find programs in your desired subject. In this case, biology and bioscience, you can adjust it according to language. I have selected 3 filters here: English only, English and the German language course, and English German, which means program also has a German component, but it's not like fully German. And then you have 200-degree programs. For today's session, our masters are relevant, and 183 master's programs. I doubt you are checking each of them separately, so you need to also narrow down that search, and there could be lots of different filters, and therefore you can combine them and then sort programs according to your, I don't know, desired application deadline or something else. Then you can also check our new subject pages. They are not new, but maybe the ones that are joining us right now are joining for the first time, so this is new for you then. And those subject pages provide information about different subjects, information about available programs, universities, intake like winter and summer, and so on. So you can also have that in one place. Very, very important, and one of the reasons we are also hosting these subject webinars is that you need to check each program individually. I mean, the ones that you already shortlist, so that each program is very different, unique, and the reason why you apply to a program may not be even ranking, but be a professor or a lecturer whose classes you want to attend, and that's the reason why you apply to a program. So it's really important to really understand what is a program about and then apply. Really briefly about the universities in Germany. There are universities and universities of applied sciences. What I want to mention today is that universities usually offer programs that are more research and theory-oriented. Universities of applied sciences have more application practice-oriented programs, but again, there are exceptions on both sides. And very important is that before applying to a program or before even asking the questions, it's always nice to check qualification requirements if you qualify. So the program can have a cutoff GPA, or they can have for example, they accept minimum C1 English score, and if you only have A2, there is no point of applying because they have the strict requirements. So the requirements or qualification requirements are really important to check and also to be aware and apply on with them. Okay. The first program to be presented is from Technische Universität Dresden, Molecular Biosciences and Reproductive Biosystems Master Science program. We have guest speaker Professor Dr. Thorsten Mascher presenting it. For some quick facts, you can have a look on slide.
end, I'd like to give a very short overview of the program. Excited to be here, and hopefully you're excited about the program afterwards. So the master program 𝘗𝘢𝘕 Molecular Biosciences and Productive Biosystems is hosted at the Technische Universität in Dresden. Just a few facts up front on the place. So it's a technical university founded almost 200 years ago. It's one of the larger universities with about 30 to 35,000 students, with 122 study programs. And since now, well over 12 years, it's one of the universities of excellence in Germany. So it's organized in 5 schools and 18 faculties. So what we are focused in here is the School of Natural Science and Mathematics and the Faculty of Biology. And the TU Dresden is focusing its work on 5 research priority areas, one of which is health sciences, biomedicine, and bioengineering. And this is kind of where we are located and what we belong to. And in that framework, we have this program 𝘗𝑚BioPro, which focuses really on wide biotechnology. So that's the core subject that this program is about. So using microbes, making use of microbes for applied purposes, chemicals, enzymes, energy, whatnot. So it is a clearly interdisciplinary effort that requires knowledge and will provide knowledge in the following areas. So biochemistry clearly is the background is important. Bioprocess engineering, functional biodiversity is also part of it as a source of what we work with. Microbial physiology, genetics, systems biology, synthetic biology. So this is kind of the subjects that are part of that program. Maybe as a motivation, why could you be interested? Why would you be interested in that program? That is for the applied aspect, if you wish. So why biotechnology holds a great potential. Oopsala, now I'm gone, right? No, here it is. For developing bioeconomy towards a sustainable future. So that is the core of what we teach. What we like to do is we like to provide you a comprehensive and clearly research-focused knowledge base on molecular biology, applied physiology, and product development with a focus on microbes. So this is the clear center here. Because we focus clearly on microbiology and applied microbiology, graduate students from that program are ideally prepared for solving future challenges in biotechnological research and development. So that is what we like to get you to in this 2-year program. As I said, it's located at the Technische Universität Dresden. So this is the biology department. And that's part of this. It's in fact a joint effort between the TU Dresden and a smaller institute that belongs to TU Dresden, which is the International Institute in Zittau, approximately half an hour away. And they are also an integral part of this program. This is just some inside views of the building you see here on the left. This is the inside of it, teaching at the large teaching labs. In fact, in this cubicle here is the smaller research-centered laboratories, and this is where most of the teaching will take place. It's a campus university, so spread on 2 campuses, but medical campus and the rest. So we're on the central campus, and this is where the teaching will be located. So now a couple of aspects of who we look for. So from what I said, clearly we look for students motivated interested in microbiology, biotechnology, engineering, protein engineering, genetic engineering, synthetic biology. So that should be at the heart of what you like to do, because that's what we will do a lot. And there's quite a number of other things we don't do, because that's the focus of the program. So what we require or expect of you as applicants is a first university degree in natural sciences. This can be pretty broad, of course, biology, biotechnology, Life sciences in the broader sense are the obvious parts of it, but also biochemistry, biophysics, pharmacy. These can fit if you can convince us, we have an aptitude test, convince us that you have fundamental knowledge in the core subjects, genetics, microbial genetics particularly, molecular biology, and microbiology. We do require that you demonstrate experimental experience. So you have to have a longer internship or an experimental bachelor thesis. Purely theoretical knowledge is not sufficient for that program. It's really a research-centered program. And of course, proficiency in English. All the courses are taught in English, but for that reason, you need to be able to communicate in English, obviously. Goodie. Now a bit information on the program itself. It consists of, if you want to put it, 3 phases. The 4 semesters. The first semester is what we call leveling and qualification phase. This is meant to bring you all up on the same level and up to speed in all the areas that we will require for the in-depth courses afterwards. So physiology, microbial physiology, cultivation, gene expression, protein production, and also, because this is something we don't require you to have, is also knowledge on fungi and protists, which we will add on top of the bacteria. So this is all done in the first semester. This is a mandatory phase. So the whole cohort, it's about 25 people, will be together in the practical courses. There are practical courses all along the semester and accompanied by lectures. The second phase is the second and third semester, and this is really where you dig in deeper, dive in, and where you can specialize. So we have 3 pillars called functional tools, productive pathways, and application technology, from which you can pick courses. So in the second and third semester, there are no lab courses anymore in the classical sense, but what we have there, because it's a research-centered program, is you do a longer lab rotation in each of the semesters in a given lab. And then you specialize in these 3 pillars. This is lectures, seminars, and whatnot. And then the 4th semester, obviously, there's the master thesis at the end of it. So this is the structure of the program. This is what we want to do with you. This is what we hope you're spiked and hyped by. And if you are, you're very welcome. A couple of welcome to apply, a couple of cornerstones for the application. So it's a 2-year full-time international master program taught in English. It starts, and that's a bit unusual, in the summer term. So the next one will start April 2026. That is why the application deadlines are coming in pretty quickly, in fact. And it depends on from where you are, because it goes via 2 different routes. So for German citizens and residents or EU applicants, it is basically from December onwards. For non-EU applicants, it is October. Reason for that is that we realized over the first, it runs now for 5 years, we realized that the visa application procedure is taking long, and also the internal quality check takes a while. So we need you to apply early in so that you get your feedback by early January. So that would give you like 3.5 months for getting your visa, and that is sufficient for most, at least. And then there is an aptitude assessment for all of them that starts from December onwards. It's a separate part, and that will be taking place then in mid-January. Okay, so this is some application deadlines. And with that, I'm already at the end. If you are interested in, there's a couple of links. The presentation will be provided, so I can provide the presentation via my German university, and then you will have those links as well. Yeah, that was it from my end. And I
give the mic to Professor 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘵, Biomedical Engineering Master Science Program from Technische Universität Ilmenau. Once again, the quick facts about the program and some information is on the slide. A professor is also with us, and you can take over once you're ready. Yes.
Thank you very much. I would like to introduce you to the biomedical engineering program at our university in Ilmenau. But before doing so, I would like to, of course, introduce a bit of where we are and what we are doing. The university I'm representing is pretty much in the center of Europe, in the center of Germany, as you can see here. We are in a highly developed industrial engineering region. We have in the surroundings about 200 plus high-tech companies, including world leaders like Carl Zeiss and similar companies which are having their presence around the world. We provide engineering education, top engineering education in Germany, and we are actually a small university town. So if you have not yet heard about Ilmenau, that's perfectly fine. We're close to the state capital Erfurt, which is a vibrant city and where you can have lots of cultural activities. Ilmenau is known in Germany and around the world for engineering education and engineering research. And that includes, of course, many aspects like artificial intelligence and robotics these days, but many other aspects, and as well biomedical engineering. We have really cutting-edge infrastructure, and that is something you will experience while you're here, while you're doing your master program, possibly here in Ilmenau. And what you also will experience is that we have really strong partnerships with industry, with Fraunhofer Institutes and Max Planck Institutes and similar. And also, it is a university town atmosphere, so you will have lots of on-campus activities, sports, accommodation, etc. Our institute was founded actually more than 70 years ago as the first biomedical engineering institute in Europe. And we do education in the bachelor, master, and PhD levels. And you see parts of the facilities slash a overview on the campus where we are located on the right side. We are in the green, as you can see. The study programs which we offer in German are, of course, bachelor and master. In English, we offer the master biomedical engineering. And we, of course, offer also PhD, which can be a continuation of your master program. And that is, of course, both in German and English. You see some of the pictures below from our institute, from, say, work at the institute in different aspects. I will come to this in a minute. But before going to these details, I would like to spend a few words on biomedical engineering. I mean, most of you probably are aware of what biomedical engineering is. It is an engineering field. It is about technology for life, and we are really at the interface between medicine and biology on one side and engineering on the other side. And that means we have in the program, of course, engineering subjects, which is the core, but we also do have quite a bit of interaction with medicine and biology. Talking about the program, here you can see the overview. It's a 2-year program split into 4 semesters, as you can see here from top to down. And it includes basically half of it in research projects, which is the second half, and half of it in coursework. But these coursework aspects are to some extent, at least, also related to research. So, for example, soft skills, research skills, scientific work, and also the advanced studies, which are electives, which is the green part here. These advanced studies are part of the research, which is not really bound to classical courses. And as you can also see in the red color, we have only 4 compulsory modules, which is image processing, signal processing, control engineering, and microwave sensing medicine. Those are compulsory because that is in the core of our business, in the core of our normal research work. So what is the research we are doing? We are active in measurement and stimulation technologies at humans, of course. We are active in data science, modeling, and AI. And we are specifically applying this to ophthalmology, so eye care. We are also applying this to neuroscience. Those are the two main fields of application. We do have a focus on medical imaging and radiology and medical information systems. And you see, of course, down here some of the pictures from our institute, from our scientific work. Let me go a bit into the measurement and stimulation technologies. What you see here are typical examples of that. So when you go to the very left, you see a cap with electrodes included. They are sticking to the outside, so they're inside out and display here. These electrodes are really the cutting edge technology for EEG, electroencephalography measurements at the moment. And we are happy, for example, that these electrodes are flying in space at the moment, at the Chinese space station, actually, and being tested as the first electrode, first dry electrode ever in space. And you see the other figures giving you some examples of other bioelectric or optic measurements or stimulation systems. What we are also doing is validation and standardization for these technologies, of course. Data science is something which is also very important in these days. It's something which will be relevant for the upcoming years, as I think really extensively. Modeling and simulation is something which we do on a regular basis. And you see in the example down here, on the left side, a typical electric stimulation, which we do here at the neck of the phrenic nerve, and where we stimulate the nerve such that it triggers the respiration of the patient or volunteer, in this case here. And for this, you need really very detailed models. You need high performance computing, and you need really a lot of data in order to make this really working for each individual patient. On the right side, you see a typical example for a model of the head and of the brain and the eye, which we also use for recording brain activity and simulating brain activity at the same time. Let me finally, for this, show you a bit of the technology at work. So you want to see where in the brain is happening something at a given time. So what you need to do is you need to build up models, as you can see here in the video on the right side. These models represent the brain with its material properties. The model represent also the recorded data. This is what you see here. Only 300 milliseconds of data actually for this video here. So what you see is magnetic and electric recordings of that. And from these recordings, you will learn how this will facilitate activity estimation in the brain. So what you see here in color-coded on the brain is the activity of a certain stimulation, and it is what is the outcome of a master over here, for example, is you are able to do exactly that. You are able to give this in an application scenario to neurology, psychiatry, and so on. Yeah, job perspectives. Application is something which I just mentioned. Job perspectives. Biomedical engineering industry. The German biomedical engineering industry is the leading industry in Europe. It's far more developed than in any other country in Europe. And it is an industry which is really driving innovation. So we have many of our bachelor and master graduates going to the biomedical engineering industry in Germany for the different aspects, from development processes, testing, quality management, application, consulting, training, and so on. Maybe the second most important part of the job market is hospitals, where people go after they finish their master in our university to work in procurement, work in safety engineering or quality management, and so on in hospitals. And then last but not least, we have on the right side two more fields of application, or fields where people from our university typically go and find their jobs. This is medical and biological research, so in research institutes, for example, and public authorities or professional organization, like the typical regulation related work, accreditation, certification, etc. So this is basically the total overview on the job applications. So with this, I also would like to finish my presentation. I have here the contact info, which will be available, because the slides will be available after the webinar, and I will be happy to answer questions. Thank you.
Give the mic to Dr. Niklas Kästner from Osnabrück University, presenting Biology from Molecules to Organisms Master in Science program. He also has a team member with him, so
I'm very happy to talk to you about our master program today. So just to give you a bit of background information, my name is Niklas Kästner, as Nino has already mentioned, and I'm a biologist myself, but I'm not doing research anymore. Instead, I'm responsible for science communication and outreach at the biology department in Osnabrück. And today I'm here together with Dr. Laura Elpers. She's our study program coordinator, and she will be there during the Q&A to answer all your questions, because she knows a lot more about these regulation things. Okay, so let's jump right into the topic. What does our master program has to offer? So the first thing you can already guess from the title, Biology from Molecules to Organism. So it's a bit very broad, not so specialized program. And research at the biology department in Osnabrück covers a wide range of biological disciplines. So there are people who focus on the structure of single molecules, to people who focus on the behavior of whole organisms, or even the ecological interactions between them. And this diversity is also reflected in the courses that are offered. However, students can choose specific tracks. So there are 3 tracks. On the one hand, you can say, I want to study the whole range of biology. Then you can go for general biology. Or you can specialize on evolution, behavior, and ecology, or on cell and molecular biology. Within these tracks, however, you can still flexibly choose courses. However, you have to keep in mind that it won't be possible, for example, to just choose courses from microbiology or only do stuff in plant physiology. You will always have to cover a certain range of different disciplines. Okay, that's what I just said. And then one important aspect is that there's a lot of practical work in the study program, and you will get a lot of research experience. You will also see that in a few minutes when I talk more about the structure of the program. And lastly, if you study biology in Osnabrück, you profit from our cutting-edge laboratory infrastructure. For example, here, I'm sorry, I think I have to sneeze. It's gone. Okay, so here you can see the Center for Cellular Nanoanalytics, which is an interdisciplinary research building And in there, you can find high-end microscopy equipment, mass spectrometry equipment. And this is also something that you get to use as students. Okay, so now let's focus more on the structure of the program. As usual, it is made up by specific building blocks or modules that you have to complete to collect credit points. And the first of these building blocks is the so-called introductory module. There, among other things, you will get an overview about the different divisions at the biology department in Osnabrück and about the research that is done there. The next building block comprises the so-called master modules. So you will have to complete 4 master modules that you can freely choose depending on your interests, but also on your track. And each master module focuses on a specific topic and consists of a lecture, a seminar, and exercises, practical exercises. That means practical experience is incorporated into the study program from the beginning. And these master modules are complemented by an excursion or internship module and a so-called in-depth lecture. The excursion or internship module is basically just like a master module, but the exercises part is replaced by an excursion or an internship. And the in-depth lecture is, basically only the lecture of an additional master module that you attend without doing the seminar or the exercises. Now, if you have a look at these building blocks and you add up the credit points, you will see that they make up almost half of the credit points that you will have to collect during the study program. So you can see that's already a huge part of the program. The assistance module, on the other hand, is a much smaller building block, but I think it's nevertheless quite important because here you get experience in academic teaching. So during this module, you will get to supervise students in a course as a tutor, but you won't be on your own there, of course. There will be people to guide you through this. Now, so far we've seen the first part of the study program. The second part is mainly you doing research on your own, again, supervised and supported by experienced researchers. So on the one hand, you have the project courses. These are phases where you do empirical work over a couple of weeks, and then you write a report about your findings. Then we have the literature module, where you dig into the scientific literature and summarize the state of research regarding a specific question. And this is usually already related to the topic of your master's thesis, which is then the last building block. And in the master's thesis, you get the chance to focus extensively on current, exciting research question. And this is usually part of the actual research that is done at our department. And you are part of a research group. You have a lot of people who can support you and guide you during this phase, but you will have your own project that you work on. Okay, and if you have completed all these building blocks, including the final thesis, then you get your degree. But before that, of course, you will have to apply for the program and you have to be admitted. And so we want to talk a bit about the admission regulations. So the first requirement is that you have a bachelor's degree in biology or comparable qualification. The second requirement is that you have a certain level of English proficiency because that is the teaching language. And please note that admission to the program is restricted. So based on our past experience, there will be more applicants than we have places to offer. So there will be a numerous clauses, which means that your previous grades will also play a role in the admission process. Okay, so now we've talked about the program, the admission stuff, and I mean, that's probably the most important thing for you. But I can imagine that you also want to know a bit about the city where our university is located in. And so I'll say a few words about Osnabrück. If you don't know this beautiful place, then let me show you where to spot it on a map in relation to some of the better known cities. So if you draw a line from Berlin to Amsterdam, and another line from Hamburg to Cologne, then at the intersection of these lines is where you roughly find Osnabrück. It's a city with about 170,000 inhabitants, and 30,000 students. So the students make up a big part of the community, and they influence the life in the city heavily, as you can imagine. Osnabrück as a city has a lot of things to offer. Let me just name a few. So the first one is probably the most important one for you. It has a vibrant and welcoming university that is strong in research. But beyond that, there's also a lot of things that you can do. On the one hand, Osnabrück has all the amenities of a big city. You can go to the cinema, to the theater, you can go shopping, to clubs, to concerts, or even festivals. And on the other hand, it still has this flair of a much smaller town. So you can reach everything by bike and bus quickly, and you have the chance to run into the same people several times. And I think that's a great thing, especially if you start at a new place and want to meet new people. And then there's lots of things to do, places to see in Osnabrück itself, but also in the surroundings, because it's embedded in a beautiful landscape. And due to its central location, it's also a great starting point to see more of Germany or Europe, if you should get bored in the end in Osnabrück, which should take some time. Okay, so now I'm already at the end of my talk. I hope that I could show you that we don't only have to offer a great study program, but also a great city to live in. And if you have any questions, I have listed a few key contacts here, but of course you can also ask us now, especially Dr. Laura Elpers, which I have mentioned at the beginning. She's our study program manager and should be able to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was checking the Q&A, which is already quite active, and I also see answer from Dr. Elpers and Professor, so thank you very much for this. There are still questions coming, and some questions can be also generalized, so let me open officially the Q&A, and I invite all of you, whoever feels so, to also start the cameras, and we can start the Q&A session. The very first question that came was about the gap year. A student or applicant is saying that so I have completed 4 years of bachelor's degree. Due to personal problems, I have gap years. And then when applying to APS, it was already late to apply for programs. So is it problematic for your study programs if the applicant has gap years? Does he or she have to explain it or demonstrate any kind of proof? And if he and she cannot demonstrate the proof of employment, is it possible to explain that it was due to personal reasons? Usually, as far as I know, it's not problematic, but also let's hear from the study programs themselves. Let's start with Dresden. Professor Mascher, if you wish.
For this gap year, so
Yes.
I did answer the questions that I felt let me see. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I did answer the questions directly in the Q&As that I could. For the gap year, it's a very specific case, and I don't know really what to directly answer to that one. I mean, our program, and that might be kind of an answer, is out of phase. So if you look for programs, irrespective of our specific one, some are offered for the summer, most are offered for the winter. So depending on where you come in, that occurred in your own career path. We do not have specific support for like a gap year. I mean, in the end, it would be like getting individually in touch with people, whether to do a lab internship or something, but that is a one-on-one thing that is not covered by the program itself. So that would be rather saying, okay, I can identify a research group that suits my purpose. I would like to use the time before I start a program and try to get in there, even though depending on where you come from, visa aspects and all these kind of things are not always trivial. So short answer, we don't have a specific support for that, but picking and choosing the program may help in terms of when you enter a German university.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Dr. Elpers or Dr. Kastner? I don't know who wants to take this one. Or feedback from Ilmenau. Professor.
So I
Yeah.
have no idea regarding this. So maybe Dr. Elpers has, but I'm not even sure if I got the question right. So whether the gap year is a problem if you then apply, or whether there's something you can do during the gap year.
No, so I think the question is that the degree was done in 2022, and now the person will be already applying for 2026. So this is 3 years. Is it okay that there was no continued education and like joining the program right away, like a consecutive program?
There is no problem with the gap years. You can apply as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
There no continuous studies has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same with us. We have lots of engineers going to industry, and then after 3-4 years coming back to university. It's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think there was another question from Ilmenau about, or is it for Dresden? I'm not sure. I will read it out, and maybe by context you could see if it's more relevant for you or not. My bachelor's background is biology, but not strongly focused on microbes or fungi. Is it problematic? Should I make up extra courses with extra courses?
It sounds like it goes a bit towards Dresden, that question, because it's particularly about microbes. I mean, most people will have microbiology somewhere in a biology bachelor. And it really, we only require bachelor level. So we don't require any knowledge about fungi, which would be extraordinary because most universities don't cover much of that. We offer that, and we ask for basic knowledge in microbiology. No knowledge of microbiology would be problematic, admittedly, but biochemistry, microbiology, molecular biology are the core subjects, and they are usually covered by any biology program in the bachelor, I would assume. Extra courses, I mean, it would be a way to show that you're really highly motivated, but it's not required. Let's put it like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Another general question, is there any way to obtain a scholarship? Dear Vanessa, yes, you can apply for the scholarship. One of the possible scholarships for you is the for the graduate for the applicants of all graduate disciplines, like for master scholarship, it's from DAD. If any of your programs or cities or universities have extra scholarship, you can just unmute yourself and provide any information. So I think you can apply for DAD, which is universal for all, and then you can also check for there is a DAD funding database where you can find relevant scholarships according to you from where you're applying. So this is also important because then the deadlines and the procedure could be different. I can also put the link in chat. Question: where is the aptitude test? Where does the aptitude test come in? Is it after the admission or before? So usually it's before. I think this is true for programs that do have aptitude tests, and they help professors, coordinators to select applicants. Please correct me if I'm wrong or provide any further details.
So we do have the aptitude test, and you just said the absolute correct answer. It's part of the evaluation process. I mean, the first is the formal screening that people fulfill the requirements. And the next one is then to identify the best suited candidates out of the applicants that are left over. As simple as that. And then the aptitude test comes into play. So it's part before the admission, yes.
A question for Dr. Elpers or Dr. Kastner. I have studied 60 hours per course subjects hours of microbiology in my bachelor's in renal dialysis. Where did it go now? Technology. Can I apply for master's in biology?
So you need at least 75 credit points in biology courses. That can, whatever biology courses you can take. Yes. So the student have to look for these credit points.
Another question about the costs for internationals. Do you have any costs for internationals? And if so, what are they? Let's go one by one. Dr.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to look up the most recent numbers that I don't have on the top of my head. I think it's currently about 350 euro. But that includes also the ticket for the whole area. So that's part of the whole thing. And the most costly part of it, and of course support for having cheaper lunch meals and whatnot. So TU Dresden in general has this general student fees, tuition fees in that range, 300 euro.
But I also want to mention that German students have also to pay this. This is not because that you are international, and this is different from tuition fee. Tuition fee, compared to some countries, is then you can say there are no tuition fees. There is a semester contribution, which is again used for your benefit. So this is a great opportunity that Germany is providing, and that I also used when I studied here. And I think this is the same for all programs. There are no extra tuition fees, right?
There's no extra tuition fee. Also for us, it's just this semester contribution, which gives you the free ticket for all trains in Germany. That is quite a bit. And it gives you also like the cheap meals in the Mensa, and it gives you support for accommodation, etc. So that is quite helpful. So you get basically enough benefits out of these approximately 300 euros.
And one more very, very nice thing that I actually liked is a library, and you have huge libraries where you can, like, the people are coming there just to also read newspaper and stuff, and so it's worth the investment. I really enjoyed, and you can also study there, so it's really nice. And I think it's the same for Osnabrück. Yeah, okay. Our university does not give credits. Instead, they give core subject hours. I completed 3 years course, study plus 1 year internship. So how would you take this into account credits? Dear anonymous attendee, I will send a link now where you can convert hours to ECTS, and then you need to have required ECTS. Just give me 1 second. I will check this link. ECTS calculator. This is already in chat. And you can just write how the grading works in your country, and then you get the approximation of ECTS points. Can you send the link to scholarship platform? Yes, of course. I write the whole list of scholarship information. So it's from 𝘗𝘪𝘵, and there's a database, guideline to using database, and also our articles about like different countries and how 𝘗𝘪𝘵 scholarships work there. So, I mean, other study programs presented here. I think it was already an ongoing communication. I don't know, yes, Subin, if you're still here and your question was not answered, please rewrite it. For the programs with internships, do students find English internship opportunities in the area, or do they need to learn German for internships? Whoever wants to go first.
Good question. And yes, it's not an issue anymore because meanwhile, most German companies use English in their daily communication, at least in engineering subjects. So that is not just for biomedical engineering, it's also mechanical engineering and other fields of engineering where we have English as the working language, basically. So it's not an issue for any internship or any master thesis or so.
Mm-hmm. I think Professor Masche agrees.
Full stop. Yeah, same here.
Okay. And nothing to add from Osnabrück, I guess. No. Okay, thank you. Do students have the right to bring dependents? Maybe I can take this one. Yes, you have the right, but you will have to provide financial proof of then 2 blocked accounts, and also yeah, like, so it doesn't depend on the program. Program will accept you, but then independently you will have to apply for visa for your dependent as well. And for that you need definitely to have a blocked account or enough financial resources as a letter of guarantee or so on. So this maybe can be also answered during our visa webinar. And one last question that I see that is still open is for Ilmenau. I have one question regarding pursuing PhD in neurobioscience. That is there any option for using this specific subject for PhD related cancer biology?
We in-house we do offer PhD in biomedical engineering and other engineering fields, but we closely collaborate with the University in Jena, with the medical faculty over there. And actually, I'm also a member of the medical faculty in Jena, which is like 3/4 of an hour away. And we offer these options like PhD in neuroscience or similar then over there in Jena. Funding for PhD is always related to either funding external support like DAD or similar, or it is related to internal projects. So that means regular salary, basically.
Great. Thank you. Meanwhile, we answered 34 questions, maybe 1 or 2 comments, but let's say 30 questions, which is nice. And thank you very much, dear applicants, for your interest. We hope that the session was informative. I